something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love.
What's going on, everybody? It's your big homie, the Armchair Operator, and welcome to today's video. Now, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you find this video informative and maybe even a little bit entertaining. And if you're coming back to the channel, thank you so much for coming back. I hope that you also find this video informative and maybe even a little bit entertaining. Now, as you saw by the thumbnail, today we are going to do a initial impressions video on the Masterpiece Arms Mac 5 chambered in 9mm. But first thing, before I go anywhere, let me just verify clear real quick. Clear. Firearm is empty. And we are filming in a safe and controlled environment. There's no ammunition anywhere in my review space. Now, MP5, this is a clone of the venerable H&K MP5. And MP5, a number of different manufacturers have released their own MP5 clones over the years, from Century Arms to Zenith to MKE, whatever, right? But what makes this particular MP5 clone a little special from this, well, there's a couple things, but the main thing is the price point. So when this firearm was unveiled in early 2024, and when it hit the market, it officially became the cheapest MP5 clone on the market with an MSRP of just under $1,000. Now, if you saw my latest teaser on Instagram, or even my 2024 collection update video, you'll know that this particular firearm, I got this at the most recent gun show out in Oaks, Pennsylvania, like back in December 2024. Now, this firearm, let me just say as a disclaimer, was purchased used at the time. So I got a lot more with this particular firearm when I bought it versus what you will normally see when you buy it brand new out the gun store. Couple of things. First of all, let me collapse my brace. All right. The first thing is this brace. This is the actual SB Tactical Extending Pistol Brace. So this came with the gun. Also, this claw Picatinny mount also came with the firearm. And it came with an actual Trijicon ACOG. I'm sorry, the Trijicon ACOG. I believe it was the TA33, I believe, the fixed 4-power ACOG. Now, you're not going to see that with an actual AP5 or a Mac 5 when you go and buy it out of the store. Okay, it'll have like the traditional tail cap, it'll have a bungee sling and some other things that I'll get to in a moment. But I say all that to say the experience with this particular gun has been interesting, I must say, and I must also say that it hasn't been without issues. And we're going to get into more of those issues in just a bit. But let's go over the feature set first. So first thing, this is the full size version with the, I think this is like a 8.9 inch barrel. Okay. I think they have the P version, which is the clone of the MP5K, my apologies, which is the one that has like a 5-inch, like 5.5 inch barrel. But this is the full size version, and it comes with 2 standard capacity magazines. And these magazines, what I really like about these are metal magazines. And just for reference, it comes with 2 MKE magazines. This is the metal one. This is an actual German-made HK magazine for the MP5. And if you look at these two, they're nearly identical to one another. I don't know if you see the receivers and the body. The only difference is that has their branding, while this just says made in Germany. But I mean, honestly, for the most part, they're virtually identical, which I really like. I know some manufacturers have magazines by KCI and some manufacturers use MKE style magazines, but these magazines are definitely high quality, and you get 2 of them when it comes in the box. Oh, speaking of the box, let's take a look at the box really quick. All right, so here's the carrying kit. This is the case. This is what it all comes in. And I gotta say, I really do like the fact that they give you a nice hard case to carry your Mac 5 in. But let's see, let's take a look at what's in this case. So I'll get it opened up. All right. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is essentially, the firearm will come in this case right here. All right. So this is the second standard capacity magazine that you'll get. You'll get 2 of them in the case. You also get like a bottle for your cleaning, your gun cleaner, whether you CLP or hops bore 9, whatever you want to put in there. You also get like a nice tool set. This looks sort of like a faux suppressor, and you get like your different cleaning brushes, your extensions. You got a couple Allen keys in here. Actually, I think I dropped these in there, but you definitely get these too. I'll explain why I put these in there in a little bit when I get back to the when I get to talking about the SB Tactical Brace. There is a reason why I put these in there. But let's see what else you get out of the box. You get a trigger lock, because safety, right? And you get a sling. This is the standard sling you get, and you just hook it onto the sling loops. Now, normally with the standard end cap, you would just hook this to the back of the end cap, and you would hook the front portion right here on the forward mount on the Mac 5 itself if you want to use the sling. But you also have a sling position here, so you could use this or this, even though you have the SB Tactical Brace or some other PDW brace on here. Personally, I will be running a QD setup, so like this is cool and all, but more than likely I probably won't be using this, but maybe I will. I don't know. And then you also come with your flash hider. Now your flash hider basically just used the tri-lug system, as you see on the barrel here. You would just put it on, and then you would just index it to a point, and then you would just push this in to lock it down. Now, me personally, at least as far as this, maybe I'm not doing it right, but it's a little difficult to get off by hand. So essentially all I would do is just use a flathead screwdriver and just turn it this way a little bit, and this mechanism will unlock. So that's your flash hider. And of course you got your thread protector on the threads, and your standard tri-lug adapter here for your barrel. All right, so that's basically it for the case itself. And you also get your instruction manual. Definitely highly recommend that you look at this manual, especially if you're not familiar with the MP5 SP5 platform. Definitely something that you should look at. And mine came with the instruction manual for the SB Tactical Brace. Now, speaking about the SB Tactical Brace, so when I first decided to break this down just to inspect, you know, the bolt carrier group and the cleaning and so on and so forth, I had a hell of a time getting this off. And the reason why is that if you look like under here, right here, these little 2 screw holes, I don't know if you can see them, but there are 2 little screw holes in there. And there was a set screw in there that I didn't see at first. So that's the reason why I had the Allen wrench inside the little toolkit, so I could take that little set screw out so I could get the brace off. I'm actually going to show at the end of this video, I'm going to go over some important things that you are going to want to be mindful of whenever you have either a Mac 5 or any other MP5 clone, or even the MP5 or SP5 itself. And this is going to be related to the issues that I had, and basically how I went about troubleshooting it. I would just say if you buy this firearm brand new and you're having issues, send it back to the manufacturer. Don't even monkey around with it. However, if you are someone who would like to diagnose and triage certain things on your own before taking that step, or if you're just someone who rather be a little self-sufficient and try to fix it yourself, then you're definitely going to want to stay to the end of this video, because I'm basically going to show you what I did to get this thing operational. All right. The issues that I was having were failures to feed, and like I would fire a few rounds and for whatever reason, not failure to feed, I'm sorry, failure to eject. I was having failure to eject issues, and I just didn't understand why. And then I got this particular firearm out of the box and it was like that. But for the most part, the firearm, when it runs beautifully. The recoil impulse from the roller delay system it is so soft, it is ridiculous. If you go and run one of these and then try to run a CZ Scorpion side by side, you will feel the difference immediately. Not only is this thing heavier because this is a mostly steel gun. I think this thing is like 7 pounds, and like a small package like this is comparable to ARs, and ARs are a lot longer. So you get the idea. But anyway, this thing shoots so soft, and when you're aiming down the sights and you're running it, it's like a laser beam. Like, it is so easy to keep this thing accurate and on target, especially when you have the brace, when you got this sighted in with your pistol brace or whatever. But or even without the pistol brace, even if you're just, you know, like right here or with a sling, it's still really easy to stay on target. That's one of the things that I really like about this particular firearm. But anyway, let's take a stop on over to the range so I can show you this particular gun in more detail in action. And then we're going to come back to the review space. And if you decide to stick around, I'm going to go and do a little deep dive as to what I did to service this particular firearm. So let's head on over to the range. First shots. Backfire. Thinking we got a dud round here. Definite primer strike, but no discharge. Can't blame that on the gun. I'm gonna see if it'll fire this time. Let's see. Nope. Bad round. Oh, and just so y'all know, we are running Remington UMC 147 grain. All right, I got another magazine. Let's try it again. Outstanding. Failure. Thinking that was a failure to extract. Let's try again. Check the target. Dead on for the most part. A couple of misses. Still getting some minor hiccups here and there, but it's definitely running a hell of a lot better than it was before. Let's try the 115 grain and see how I run. Alright, this time we're running PMC bronze 115 grain full metal jacket. And I have all 4 magazines fully charged, and essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to run both of the Mac 5 magazines first as a control to see if there are any hiccups, and then I'm going to run the HK branded magazines to see if there are any hiccups with those. Alright, so let's do it. First up, the Mac 5 magazines. First mag was good. Let's try the second one. No issues. That's what I like to see. Let's check the target. Pretty damn good if I do say so myself. Let's get a fresh target up there and let's run those HK magazines. All right, now we're gonna run those HK magazines. Boy, this thing getting hot now. It's because she running like she should. We ain't done yet. Damn good. Let's check the target. Alright, I got the last few magazines loaded up. The target is back out there at 10 yards. So far, it's been running relatively reliably since I made the changes. But let's see if I can get through these last 3 magazines without a problem. That's 2. Last one. Headbox. Outstanding. Let's check the target. basically almost like a damn laser beam. All right, so like I was saying, the Mac 5 is a dream to shoot. That roller delay blowback system, man, it's a soft recoil impulse. Like I said before, the trigger is not the greatest, but it's okay. It's not a hard break, but you got to remember the MP5 platform was designed for full auto fire. That's why the trigger is not as good as some of your other AR triggers. However, there are additional trigger packs that you can put in there for binary triggers and all different kinds of configurations. So you can look into that on your own time. But for as far as where I'm concerned, I'm pretty much happy with the Mac 5 as it stands right now. But if you enjoyed this version of the review, let me know by smashing the like button. But I'm going back to the review space. I want to watch this video to the end because I have some very important things that you need to be aware of whenever you want to get into a roller delay blowback system. All right, so if this is it for you, I appreciate your time. It's your big homie Armchair Operator, and I'm signing out here. And for the rest of y'all, see y'all in the review space.
All right, welcome back to the review space. Okay, so for those of you who decided to watch this particular portion of the review, I'm going to go over some of the things that you may want to keep in mind when maintaining your MP5 or MP5 style clone. As you can see, I already have the Firearm field strip for the most part. Unfortunately, I really can't show the full disassembly process thanks to YouTube guidelines, but I'll try to cover what I can for the most part. So, regarding the brace, so earlier when I said about these two set screws, I had a hell of a time taking out. When I removed the set screws, it wasn't hard to remove at that point, but the actual pin, which you see right here, is still a bit of a beast sometimes to get off. But take note of this little lip right here. You see that? I'm not sure if the camera can pick that up. So essentially what you can do if you're having trouble, you could get yourself a little flat edge like a spludger like this, or a flat edge screwdriver, and just push that in to hold it, and get yourself a little brass punch and a little nylon tool and just tap it right out. It should move when you do that. So I just got into the habit of removing that particular retaining pin, and I was good. The front pin was a lot easier to remove. Now, that might just be a particular tolerance issue with the SB Tactical Brace. You may or may not experience that with your SB Tactical Brace or the actual M cap that comes with your Mac 5 or AP5 or whatever. I've seen a lot of people just push the pin out and not have any issues, but that's just an issue that I had to deal with. So I just wanted to put that out there. All right, so regarding the failures to extract, so there's a couple things that'll cause that issue. The first thing is a bad extractor, a bad extractor spring, or an extractor spring that has not been installed properly. So I'm going to put a picture on the screen, and this particular picture is how my extractor spring looked when I bought the gun. Now keep in mind, I purchased this firearm used. So after doing my research on the wonderful interwebs, I said to myself, I'm going to replace the extractor and the extractor spring. So in order to do that, as you can see, we have the bolt carrier group removed from the firearm. Essentially, you would just grab the two rollers and then just twist, and this will pull right out without any issues. You might have to fight with it a little bit, but trust me, it is not hard to do. So anyway, here is the extractor and the extractor spring. This is how it should look. The extractor spring itself should be completely recessed inside of the little hole for the extractor. It should sit relatively flush, and I'll put another picture up there just to show it in case these particular angles are not doing it any justice, but that's what you want. And that's the new extractor itself, the claw. So basically I went to I think it's htparts.net or hkparts.com. I'll put a list of the parts that I replaced in the description of the video. But essentially, I went And I replaced the extractor spring, the extractor, and I also went the extra mile of replacing the ejector and also the ejector spring. Me personally, I wanted to eliminate as much as I could from the equation as far as the issue. So I just essentially went in and replaced everything that I could replace regarding the actual feeding of the rounds and the removal of the rounds. All right, so I bought 2 springs. So this is the original spring that I removed, and this is the like a new, hold on, let me try to take it out the package. So here's the old spring on the left, and this is the new spring on the right. Now you see the difference between the two? This spring is clearly shot. This is the new spring. So a couple things that you want to do if you suspect that you have a bad extractor. First thing you want to do is check spring tension. So you can get, say, like a little screwdriver, or you could use your finger, or you could use like a little plastic tool or whatever. And you just want to come in here and you just want to push on the extractor. Now I'm pushing this with a decent amount of force right now. This should be hard to move. If you push this with your tool or with your finger, with anything, and you can move this easily, then your extractor spring is shot and you need to replace it. The easiest way to replace it is to get like a little automotive pick tool or a dental pick or something like that. Just reach in there, hook it, turn it a little bit, and pull it right out. Now, here's the thing. For just field stripping and disassembly, you do not want to remove that under normal conditions. Reason being, if you remove that spring, this is a single use spring, so if you remove it, you will have to replace it. The reason being, removing this spring is going to deform it, and it's not going to be able to apply enough spring tension on that extractor in order for the firearm to function effectively. So I say all that to say, whenever you're getting into one of these firearms, and if you buy it used like I did, check your extractor spring, just open the bolt and look, just do a quick visual inspection, make sure it looks right. And if you do have your failure to eject or failure to extract issues, check that extractor and make sure that either the extractor or the extractor spring are both good. Now, regarding the ejector, so this is the actual ejector that was in the firearm. This looks virtually identical to the HK 3rd generation ejector. I'm not 100% sure if this was bad, but like I said, I wanted to go ahead and replace it anyway, and I also replaced the spring that goes with it. And the new parts are actually inside of the firearm right here. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the ejector. This is your hammer, in case you were wondering. But this is the new ejector, and this is the one that I took out of there. So they look almost the same, with the exception of a few wear marks here and there. But to replace this, you essentially got to remove the trigger pack, and it comes out as a unit. So you would just push the safety up just like that, and then you would just work this guy out of the, just like that. And the trigger pack comes right out. Now, to get this extractor removed, all you need is just like a simple tool. You'll come in here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little pin in there like so. You would just push that out and you just lift the whole thing out. And the installation is the reverse of removal. So after doing all of that, I shot about 350 rounds using a combination of 115 grain full metal jacket, PMC, and some of the Remington UMC ammo, the flat nose. I did have a little bit of issues with the Remington. As y'all saw in the footage, I had one round that was completely dead, and I had a few failures to eject with the Remington loads, and I think that might just be the shape of the bullet, because when I ran the PMC, I didn't have any issues whatsoever, and that's 115 grain. So all in all, the rifle is still going to be in testing. I'm going to put some more rounds through it, and I'm definitely going to do a 1,000-round follow-up video, and I also am going to do some testing to see how it runs suppressed. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. And And leave me a comment down here in the detail. Leave me a comment on this video and just tell me what some of your experiences have been with the MP5 or any of the clones. Have you experienced any failures to feed, any failures to eject, or any other type of issues? Let's talk about it down into the detail session, y'all. Let's get this discussion popping. And as always, thank you so much for watching. This is your big homie, the Armchair Operator, and I'm signing out, man. Peace.